What's up guys, Mark back here with yet another video. Over the last week or so since I've been messing around with these cameras, I have noticed something very significant about myself. What I'm beginning to notice about myself is that I genuinely like different stuff from different companies because of different reasons. My transition from Nikon into Sony was one of just 100%. I completely got rid of all my Nikon stuff and then dove almost completely 100% into Sony. No compromise in between. I didn't keep anything. I didn't save anything. I just went directly from Nikon directly into Sony. And now I started playing around with these two cameras, and specifically the Panasonic Lumix G7. I have really up to this point enjoyed using this camera. It is not a quote-unquote professional camera. It has no weather sealing. It has absolutely nothing in it that would make you go, damn, now that feels like a solid piece of kit right there. But what it does have is a lot of amazingly useful features that I wish were on both my Sony a6300 and that I wish was on the Sony RX Mark III. I have found myself using the Lumix G7, grabbing for the Lumix G7 a lot, even to the point where I have done so when I had the choice between 4 different cameras. And I keep going and I keep grabbing for it because of a couple of different things. And I'm only going to talk about 2 of them, and the others I will address in my full review. I absolutely positively cannot tell you how much I have loved and enjoyed using a proper touchscreen. Not just tap to focus, but a full touchscreen. I can tap menu items, I can tap screen to focus, I can tap to delete, I can tap to scroll. I can do just about anything on that camera via the touchscreen. But I gotta be honest, I can't imagine buying a brand new camera from this moment forward unless it has a touchscreen. I really think that camera manufacturers at this point in the game are either going to have to include a touchscreen, whether they actually articulate or not, but they're going to have to start including them. I love them. I absolutely love them, and I think that Panasonic has done an excellent job with their touchscreen. It is pretty much revolutionized the way I think about interacting with my camera. I'm extremely used to using a touchscreen with my phone, so I can't ever see myself buying a brand spanking new camera from this moment forward without it having a proper touchscreen. I think that it does so much for my creativity, being able to tap to focus, being able to do all those things in a very intuitive way. I mean, we're all used to using touchscreens at this point, and it genuinely makes the experience of interacting with my camera so much better. If you are at a point in your photography or your videography where you have not used a touchscreen camera, it would behoove you at this point, it really would, to not at least give yourself a shot. Try one out for yourself. I genuinely love a touchscreen, and I can't say that enough. It has just absolutely changed the way I interact with my cameras. I am honestly, when I go back and I'm using my Sony a6300 right now, not being able to touch screen, not being able to pick my focus point on the screen, it just, honestly, it just pisses me off. Another big reason why I've been picking up the G7 over my Sony a6300 and the Sony RX10 Mark III is honestly because of the articulating screen. I gotta be honest, I do so much work in front of the camera. It is so nice to be able to have that screen articulate out. Having that option to pull it out, flip it around, make sure that framing and composition is correct while I'm in front of the camera is immensely useful for me. Again, I'm at this point that I don't see myself investing my own money into another camera this point going forward without having that articulating screen. There are just too many instances where having a touchscreen and an articulating screen absolutely are a must-have for me. It may or may not be the case for everyone. where those things might be important. But anyone that does vlogging, anyone that does any sort of YouTube content creation, anyone that wants an easier, more intuitive experience with your camera when you're taking stills, those two options make a hell of a difference. And not just for people that do video and vlogging content. When you're down really low to the ground, having the tilty screen is nice. But if you want to sort of get just a really weird, odd angle, having the ability to completely twist the screen on the camera, it really does make all the difference in the world. Whereas with the Sony a6300, like I'm using right now, when I wanted to record this video, I had to immediately get out camera holder, mount it to the top of my camera, link up my phone with the camera so that they could talk back and forth. I've got a little bit of a live view going on right now, but it is just not as intuitive. So the long and short of this video is that I have come to a point where technology genuinely has made my experience so much better that I just don't think that I could ever go back. I'd like to actually hear what your all's thoughts and opinions are on a touch and tilty screen or fully articulating screen. Please leave those down below. I'd like to get a conversation going about this as to whether or not you think that, whether you're professional or not, if those features would be something that you would want. For me, using something that doesn't have an articulating screen or a touch screen, it just ticks me off. I'm genuinely mad that I have to use that camera system because it doesn't have it. And I'm not generally that critical of gear. I think that everything should be viewed and based solely on what it is. But when you want to have a specific feature and you don't have it and you're really used to it, and it's only taken about a week's worth of use, that if I have to use anything else where I don't have that functionality, I really miss it. Anyway, guys, thanks again for stopping here at the Photo Video Show. I'm your host, Mark Puckett, and I'll see you guys again on the next one. Peace.